fluffy psychological buzzword, it's literally the foundation of your overall well-being and success. Here's what we're covering today. First, the mind's immune system. Second, efficacy and self-respect. Then we'll dive into the first 3 pillars, followed by the final 3. After that, raising confident kids. And finally, why it's a practice, not a gift. Let's get into it.
Section 1. The mind's immune system.
Right out of the gate, I really want to challenge you to rethink what you know about self-esteem. We need to understand why it's absolutely critical for just surviving in this crazy, increasingly complex world we live in. This foundational book was the life's mission of psychotherapist Nathaniel Branden. He basically dedicated decades to studying why so many incredibly smart, capable people, maybe even you or me, constantly battle with feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, and self-doubt. He spent years searching for the answer, basing everything on deep clinical practice and just observing how humans actually tick.
But hey, before we go any further, let's stop and ask ourselves, what even is self-esteem? I mean, do you think it's just getting empty praise, chasing a bunch of likes on social media, or maybe, I don't know, staring in the mirror and repeating fake positive affirmations every morning? Well, as the source material makes crystal clear, none of that has anything to do with true self-esteem.
To explain it, Branden offers this absolutely brilliant metaphor. He says, self-esteem is the immune system of consciousness. Just think about that for a second. It's like a shield. Just like a weak physical immune system can make a totally normal cold dangerous, a weak mental immune system makes everyday life challenges feel completely overwhelming, almost fatal. But a strong one, that helps you bounce back from setbacks, adapt to changes, and keep growing, even when you're under a ton of stress.
Section 2. Efficacy and self-respect.
All right, to build up this psychological immunity, we've got to bust a massive myth. Self-esteem is not arrogance, it's not narcissism, and it's for sure not toxic positivity. The reality is that true self-esteem rests on 2 main pillars. Number 1 is self-efficacy. That's basically a deep trust in your own mind's competence and your ability to handle life's basic challenges. And number 2 is self-respect. This is that unshakable, deeply rooted belief that you actually deserve happiness and that your needs matter.
Section 3. The first 3 pillars.
Okay, here is where the rubber meets the road with the practical stuff. Branden insists that self-esteem is a verb, not a noun. It's something you do, requiring constant practice. The first pillar is living consciously. And honestly, the harsh truth is that most of us are just sleepwalking through life on autopilot. Living consciously means you stop running away from your problems. You actually pause and analyze those automatic negative thoughts. You know, those awful echoes from your past? And you bravely accept reality without lying to yourself. You look at the facts even when they're super uncomfortable.
Moving forward, the second pillar is self-acceptance. Essentially, you need to become your own best friend. Stop fixating just on your flaws. You wouldn't treat a good friend that way, right? Treat yourself with the exact same sympathy you'd give a buddy going through a hard time. Then the third pillar is self-responsibility. This is huge. You have to take absolute responsibility for your choices, your actions, and yeah, even your mood. There's zero room for playing the victim here. You are the sole author of your own life.
Section 4. The final 3 pillars.
So if the first 3 pillars were all about our internal world, these next 3 govern our outward actions, how we handle our goals, our values, and the people around us. The fourth pillar is self-assertiveness. Now hold on. This does not mean yelling at people or acting aggressive. Not at all. It simply means standing your ground and respecting your own needs. It's consciously deciding to stop wearing that fake mask of niceness just to get people to like you. It takes serious courage to be authentic and just say no when you need to.
Then we have the fifth pillar, living purposefully. Our brains absolutely hate a lack of meaning, so setting clear goals and actually making a plan to achieve them is vital for your psychological health. And finally, the sixth pillar is personal integrity. This just means being completely honest with yourself. You have to make sure your daily actions perfectly align with your inner values and your conscience. Basically, what you think, what you say, and what you do, they all have to match up.
There's this powerful quote from the source that captures this whole idea perfectly. You cannot change what you refuse to acknowledge. It really hits the nail on the head when it comes to adult responsibility. We have to actively, consciously work on these 6 pillars every single day. We can't just sit around waiting for some magic fix because, well, it's never coming.
Section 5. Raising confident kids.
We also really need to look at the outside world and see how easily this delicate mental immune system gets damaged when we're kids. Consider 2 massive parenting traps. The first one, shaming a child for having totally natural negative emotions. This just alienates them from their own feelings. The second trap is destroying their confidence through unfair comparisons. When adults say stuff like, "Why can't you sing as well as that other kid?" it literally crushes them. A child should only ever be compared to their own past self.
And it doesn't stop there. Imagine screaming in total panic every time a kid climbs a slide. That completely stifles their initiative, right? It stops them from developing that self-efficacy we talked about earlier. Plus, when parents constantly put themselves down, calling themselves losers or stupid out loud, they are actively modeling low self-esteem. And kids absorb that instantly, like a sponge.
Finally, we have to talk about the sheer damage of empty threats. When adults yell things like, "Just wait until your dad gets home," or when they act totally inconsistently, they're creating a chaotic, unpredictable world for that child. It essentially teaches the kid that taking any kind of initiative is highly dangerous, and that completely destroys their basic trust and their confidence in themselves.
Section 6. A practice, not a gift. This brings us to the most empowering takeaway from the whole book. Healthy self-esteem is an active, daily muscle. You have to earn it through your actions. It is never just a passive gift you're handed at birth. The source material highlights a fascinating piece of history to prove this. There was once a young man who suffered from crippling anxiety. We're talking severe panic attacks whenever he had to speak in public. But he experienced a massive turning point when he came face to face with intense injustice. He didn't build his unshakable self-esteem through magic. He built it by standing up to that injustice and acting with absolute personal integrity. That highly anxious young man grew up to become Mahatma Gandhi. Which brings us to the end of our explainer. I want to leave you with a real provocative question. Based on everything we've unpacked today about how to genuinely improve your life using this advice, which of the 6 pillars are you going to consciously choose to start practicing tomorrow? How are you going to build your own immune system of the mind? Think about it. Start practicing and take charge of your life. Thanks for hanging out with me today.